Well, hi again. This is part three. And in this just brief overview, what I want to focus in on is how nutrients are absorbed from the digestive system and handed off to the circulatory system. The key in this case is going to be how close your circulatory system comes to your digestive system. So let's take a little peek. If you look at your small intestine, you'll see that it's made up of this sort of shag carpet like material. And there's sort of these endless repetitions. If you watch the Magic School Bus, Miss Frizzle called these little sort of projectiles like this villi. And in the villi, it's quite interesting. An arteriole comes in, and you end up in a capillary exchange here, and you leave by a venule. So the digestive system pokes up into each of these villi, each one of these little rubber cactus like things, and is ready to accept nutrients. There's a little bit more to the story though. It's not just capillaries that are doing this. Let's take a closer look. Zoom in on this. There we go. So here is a singular villus, and this is a thin epithelial layer. It is very thin because we want it to make it easy for nutrients to pass from their concentrated region, which is inside your small intestine, where all of this enzymatic action has occurred. We want that concentrated good food stuff to make it into our bloodstream. So we have to have a thin epithelial layer. There's little goblet cells here that make mucus to keep this protected from stomach acid, notably. But here's the arteriole. And here you go, across, making the change over here to your venous system. Now here, this is where you absorb things like your carbohydrates. And these capillaries will pick up carbs, they'll pick up proteins. But one thing that they don't pick up is fat. You might have noticed there's something sticking right in the middle of the villus. And you're like, well, what is that? I know the red one would be sort of arterial in nature, and the blue one would be kind of venous in nature. What's this colorless one? Well, sometimes represented by a green color, this is your lymphatic system. Lymphatic system. Think back to the circulatory system. Isn't the lymphatic system the one that absorbs lymph or excess fluid from the tissues? Yes, it is. It's the makeup of its vessels is very similar to veins, right? If you recall that lymphatic vessels can have they can basically have prevention of backflow with valves. But what the lymphatic system is very good at doing is it's very good at emptying that excessive sort of tissue fluid, that lymph, in to the circulatory system, just in those big areas, right? Like up kind of by your collarbone is one in particular. This special little lymphatic finger right here is called a lacteal, and it sticks up right in the middle of the villus. It's a fat absorber. It's one of the best fat absorbers in the body. You will see it endlessly in every single one of these villi. So the lacteal's job is to absorb fat. So if you go have a double whopper with cheese, like I did one time, you don't want to give blood because the lacteal will then head on downstream with a tremendous fat payload, and it will dump it straight into circulation. The fat doesn't enter through the capillaries here per se. It enters through the lacteal. That's fine because that's going to lead to circulation anyways. So we've got three things you have to think about here. You've got capillaries, arterioles, venules, and you've got that lymphatic lacteal, which is really important. So now when you look at this, you need to visualize that there's a lacteal in the middle absorbing fat. Okay, let's do a little tour here. I'm just going to go to presentation mode. Gives us a little more area. So here is the lumen or the hollow, and as you look on that brush border of the small intestine, there are all the little folds, and this is just tons of surface area. And if you zoom in on that, you can see the villi. So this whole thing sticking up like this is what Miss Frizzle was talking about. There's your villus. each one's like a finger. And this time they've shown the lacteal, the lymphatic sort of little capillary in the middle. And here's your circulatory system capillary, right? Going from arterial to venous. It's right there. And under electron micrograph, you can see just how much surface area there is here. It's tons. Let's peek further. Sneak in a little bit. Zoom in. And you can see why such great absorption happens. Because we've got all of these blood vessels brought so close to the digestive system. It's not a lot different than the respiratory system, where you bring your blood vessels very close to the air. This is just your body bringing your blood vessels very close to your food. And really, that's the simplicity of it. The nutrients will simply flow into your circulatory system, and once it's there, it is a superhighway to take these nutrients throughout your body. Some of these nutrients are absorbed by diffusion. That's passive. Some are moved through with little tricks, like facilitated diffusion. Also passive. Some are literally pumped across cell membranes to get as much nutrient goodness as we can into cells. If it's pumped in using ATP or energy, that's active. And that's it, folks. It's a very short tour of the just turn that one off. There we go. Very short tour of the absorptive abilities of your small intestine. Thanks for listening. See you again next time.